The August 2020 update brought conditional models to roofs, which enabled incredibly efficient bunkers. A twig roof placed next to an existing upgraded roof would activate its conditional model, opening up a passage in and out of the bunker. Destroying the twig closed the bunker. I showcased this bunker in the chat shed, a simple, straightforward 2x2 that quickly provides you with protection from about 23 rockets. The January 2021 patch brought the update. The conditional model no longer activates unless the roof pieces are of the same material. This nerfs the bunker since you cannot simply destroy an armored roof, rendering the original chat shed obsolete. Within the first few minutes of the announcement of the patch, the easy building community was brainstorming workarounds. One thing that continues to work is what I showed at the end of my first video on the bunker. Placing anything on top of that socket will close the bunker. Since this requires to extend the bunker area upwards and thus dries up the cost, this wasn't a useful solution for a budget base like the chat shed. A second suggestion came from Pabi. Placing the bunker roofs onto a twig foundation, but having a raised triangle to the right. This way, only the roof attached to the right side collapses when the foundation is destroyed, closing the bunker. Unfortunately, it's not possible to replace the foundation. Instead, we're going to raise the bunker and use a twig floor frame to hold up the roof on the side. Destroying the floor frame has the same effect as destroying the foundation. One challenge with this workaround is that it requires having the material to upgrade the roof if you want to open the bunker. This can get quite costly if you operate the bunker frequently. Thus, I looked into how to leave the bunker open at all times and use traps to automatically close it in the event of a raid. The basic safeguard is to use a triangle roof to open the bunker. Since this leaves a little gap, the splash of rockets will immediately break the twig and seal the bunker. Explosive ammo tends to generate small fires, which eventually break the twig as well. Only C4 and satchels break the garage door while leaving the twig intact. The second safeguard is a series of traps. With the help of Conscious and Treason, I tested several trap configurations. A flame turret right behind the bunker proved to be the most reliable counter. It triggers as soon as you jump onto the roof. If it gets destroyed, it goes up in flames, and that destroys the twig in most of the cases. And if people try to rush past the flame turret, we add a few shotgun traps as fallback. Also thanks to Cubius and Alexander for testing for additional weaknesses. Now let's apply this and make the chat shed viable again. The chat shed 2 is largely the same as its predecessor. The Airlock gives you great all-around visibility. Instead of a second bunker, I used 2 garage and 2 single doors, which is sufficient to match the cost of a door raid with the cost of going through a sheet metal wall. While that makes you dependent on eventually obtaining the garage door blueprint, it makes the base much smaller, simpler, and saves upkeep. Above the bunker, we find the attic with plenty of overflow storage for your successful roams. This compartment contains 2 boxes that, if destroyed, drop the loot stash out of reach. In most cases, raiders will have to use explosives to retrieve that loot. The items in the core are rearranged to make more efficient use of the updated space. Behind the bunker, we find the furnaces, a level 2 workbench, and the traps. The space below the bunker holds more storage. The tier 3 has moved next to the sleeping bags. And this is the main loot room with the tool cupboard. All the items are positioned so that you can replace any of the doors without picking up any of the items. This can save the day during an online raid. Reaching the main loot room with the tool cupboard still requires to go either through 1 armored and 1 sheet metal wall, or 2 sheet metal walls and 3 garage doors. Using the traditional way of counting raids in rockets only, this puts the raid protection at 23 rockets, which is a fantastic level of protection for a base this size. At the same time, the upkeep is still more than manageable. Remember that you can always delay upgrades to armored if you're worried about the high qual cost. Let's jump into the build. The footprint is a standard Honeycomb 2x2 with extra triangles for the airlock. The one thing to pay attention to is that this square and the 2 adjacent triangles need to be lowered. I recommend to start with those 3 foundations as low to the ground as you can, and then place the rest of the foundations of the 2x2 core. Optionally, test whether you can place all the honeycomb and the 3 triangles for the airlock. Let's turn the 3 raised squares into our starter unit. This one will be our TC loot room. This time the TC goes into the left corner. For now, use it for starter items. Then continue with the next 2 squares until you have a base in this L shape. The second square can be used for furnaces and sleeping bags. For now, I would deploy your first workbench here so that it blocks door campers from going deeper into your base easily. Turn the TC room into your main loot room. I will link a tutorial that walks you through how to place those boxes. Note that to attach the half-height triangle, you will temporarily need to place a full wall and a floor tile here. Once you're done, you can deploy a campfire in this corner. Next, we will extend the base towards the future airlock. On this side, use a full wall first, then a half wall. If you use a half wall first, the bunker will not work. Surround the other lower triangle with half walls and cap it off. Upgrade the 2 neighboring triangles and place 2 double doors for the exit. Add walls and ceilings. Add an additional wall here to protect the TC. Don't place anything in front of the lowered square. We need to keep it empty so that the roof bunker can connect to that socket. Before we install the bunker, make sure that you have a dedicated box with a stack of wood and a stack of the material that you use for the bunker. Keep this box stocked for a rainy day to always be able to open the bunker. Place a square roof onto the socket that we left empty. Attach a floor frame to the same socket. Then you can place a triangle roof piece onto that wall frame. As long as both roofs are upgraded to the same material, the bunker is open. This door either needs to be removed or replaced with a garage door, or you won't be able to pass through. If there's an emergency and you need to seal the bunker, simply destroy the twig. To reopen it, take the necessary materials out of your rainy day box, replace the floor frame and then the triangle roof. Leave the floor frame twig and only upgrade the triangle roof to the same material as the roof that seals the bunker. As soon as you can, place a flame turret in about the center of this foundation. It triggers as soon as somebody without building privilege jumps onto this roof. This is your fail-safe to automatically close the bunker should somebody try to go deep. We still have this hole in the ceiling. Climb onto the roof and surround it with half walls. This will be your attic. Above this square, we create a compartment for the unlootable boxes. Add 2 code-locked large ones. Then close off this compartment with a low wall. Use the rest of the space for more boxes and the repair bench. Next, add the airlock to allow you to safely get in and out of the base. We'll use 2 single doors for the exit. If you don't have the glass window blueprint, use shop fronts for visibility. In this corner, remember to place the left one first. If you place the right one first, the game won't allow you to place the left one. Glass windows have the advantage that they create less metal fragment upkeep, and they allow you to squeeze the research table and a dropbox into this corner. If you can, add a shotgun trap guarding the second sheet metal door in case you get door camped. In front of the airlock, create a jump up. All the basic building blocks are in place. Next, we will upgrade the base to its final state. Once you have a tier 2 workbench down, replace all double doors with garage doors. That includes the 2 double doors in front of the bunker. If you still need the Tier 1 workbench for research, feel free to deploy it between those 2 doors. Let's add the Honeycomb. We will come back to the spot in front of the bunker in a second. For now, let's just place regular Honeycomb everywhere else. In front of the bunker, attach a sheet metal floor tile to the full wall. Before we close that bit off, we need to talk about one vulnerability of roofs. If we just closed it off with a regular wall, raiders could fire rockets at a very specific spot, causing both bunker roofs to take damage. In this configuration, it's difficult to achieve, but not impossible. This would allow raiders to circumvent the bunker and save 8 rockets. The solution is to cover the rock with another building block. The simplest way to do this is to add a raised foundation. Since this leaves the top side, the weak side of the foundation exposed, you'd best honeycomb it as well. Personally, I don't like this solution because it breaks the symmetry of the base, but it is the safest. Another, cheaper solution is to place a floor frame as a splash breaker here. That would be a cheap and elegant solution if it did not enable a different way to overcome the bunker, which was found by Conscious. It enables raiders to place a twig floor tile through the wall, even without building privilege. This floor tile will continue to hold up the second bunker roof if the twig floor frame breaks, and thus keep the bunker open. You can counter this by embedding any object into the honeycomb that prevents a floor tile from being placed, such as a sleeping bag, a furnace, or any other suitable object. Apply one of those solutions to the honeycomb. Next, I'll show you the final upgrades. Every building block inside of the L-shaped starter section, apart from the wall frames, should ultimately be upgraded to armored. Since this requires a lot of high qual, do not hesitate to upgrade it to sheet metal first. The wall frames and the bunker section get upgraded to sheet metal. You might be concerned about exposed soft sides and tool raiding. Currently, this wall is not susceptible to soft side picking since the roof is touching it. However, the half wall above is. Feel free to upgrade it to armored to deny raiders a jackhammer plus 17 rocket hybrid raid path. Continue the upgrades with the 2 triangles in front of the bunker. Then upgrade the attic. You might not be able to reach all the building blocks from within the base anymore. If that's the case, upgrade the rest from the outside. Ultimately, you want all the honeycomb, that is everything apart from the airlock, to be upgraded to sheet metal as well. The final placement of the items is your choice. However, allow me to recommend an efficient item placement where no items block the replacement of a door. Below the bunker, add 2 large boxes flush against this wall. Place a barbecue in a small box far into this corner. Then deploy a shotgun trap against the foundation, aiming at the twig. A final small box will fit into this corner. This item placement ensures that you can easily replace the floor frame that holds up the second bunker roof. Behind the bunker, squeeze the Tier 2 workbench as far into this corner as you can. Place 2 furnaces in front of it. Another furnace goes in front of the bunker. Experiment a bit with its placement. I found that if I moved it a bit towards my avatar, it makes traversing the bunker a lot easier. The flame turret goes back into the center and a sleeping bag for the third team member in front of it. A shotgun trap above this furnace prevents raiders from rushing past the flame turret. Use the square in front of the main loot room for the Tier 3 workbench. Next to it, either deploy a locker or the research table with another large box. I chose the locker. The research table can go into the airlock. You should be able to easily fit 2 sleeping bags in front of it. I'd also add a bear rug for comfort. High comfort levels restore your health if you're not starving. And that's it, the Chat Shed 2. A compact, simple, affordable yet strong main base for players who want to focus on the action rather than building. As always, I hope you found this video helpful. Take care, Evil Wurst, out.